Stop texting me. I hate you. Suddenly I felt nauseous. Tears welled up in my eyes. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped my phone. But I didn't drop it. I felt this pain and regret and hopelessness well up in my chest. I've been texting Eric, my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, for weeks, begging for his forgiveness, begging him to talk to me, begging for another chance to fix things, begging for any kind of response at all, any indication that he still loved me, any indication that I mattered to him, begging for anything except the message he sent, the message saying he hated me. So I didn't drop my phone. I let out a sob of agony and threw it across the room. It bounced off the doorframe and crashed onto the hardwood floor. It landed face up. I still had my favorite picture from when things were so good as my wallpaper. Both of us were smiling and happy at his sister's wedding. But we didn't look happy now. The screen was shattered, and a spiderweb of glass scarred our faces and blocked out our smiles. And I watched as my broken phone flickered out and died right there on the floor. At the time, I thought my chances of Eric ever fighting to have me back died with it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm not a relationship expert or an author or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just a woman who had something amazing with my boyfriend Eric, who messed it up horribly, who almost lost the man I love forever, who got him back for good, even though I thought it was impossible. And if you just stick with me and watch this video all the way through, I'm going to show you how to get your ex back too, even if he says he hates you, even if you cheated, even if you pushed him away, even if you think you've tried everything to get him back like I did. And the crazy part is, you'll get him back just by following a few simple steps, and by sending a few seemingly innocent texts, created by a man I personally consider to be a certified relationship genius. Now, if you're thinking, I already texted him and it blew up in my face, I understand. I was there too. Now I wake up every day wrapped in Eric's strong arms, so grateful I didn't let my own anger and sadness keep me from learning what I'm going to teach you right here, right now. So take a deep breath and listen. Woman to woman, I promise you'll be happy that you did. After that horrible text from Eric, I'm sure you can imagine how awful it felt. I don't think I'd ever been really depressed before that moment. And somehow having my phone shattered and broken was a relief. It made it impossible for me to text him back, to lash out at him and say I hated him too, to tell him how furious I was that he gave up on us, to do anything I could to get the attention he refused to give me. That night I found myself at the computer with a half-empty bottle of wine on my desk and a devastating sadness at my heart. For 3 hours I just sat there staring at old pictures of us and reading old romantic emails he'd sent me and just cried and cried. I remembered when we met, how he was talking to a friend of mine when we locked eyes and he melted me with a smile. Our first kiss, the incredible chemistry, how he held me so close. Like he was afraid I'd get away and he'd do anything to make me his. I knew right then this was the man I had no choice but to take seriously. A man I knew I could fall in love with. I remembered the hikes we took, the trips we went on together, the incredible connected sex we had, where I felt like the most important, most beautiful woman in the world. I remembered how he held me and let me cry on his shoulder when my dog died. Staying up late, talking about the future, coming up with silly names for the kids we both wanted so much. And I remembered the not-so-good times too, when I love you became automatic, something you say because it's something you say. When we started running out of things to talk about and just dove into our phones at dinner. When the spark went out of his eyes when he looked at me. When he stopped telling me how beautiful I was, how lucky he felt to be with me. And I remembered the night I ruined everything. A night with another bottle of wine, and a guy from work who'd flirted with me for years and finally said all the right things. I was so vulnerable and desperate to feel that passion again. And I made a drunken mistake that destroyed the relationship Eric and I had. And I remembered the screaming and the fights and the guilt and the shame, and how even though I tried to explain and begged him to stay, he still left. And I was alone, counting the years I'd wasted, realizing for the first time in a long time how much I still loved him. And I don't know how, but that's how I found this relationship genius. I was surfing the web, doing random Google searches for how to get your boyfriend back or something like that, and I must have clicked on some banner or email or a link on a blog or something, because I found this bald guy named Michael Fiore, who was supposedly some kind of relationship expert. He'd been on the Rachel Ray show and had a podcast and a website, and he said he could teach me how to get my ex back with text messages. And at first I just laughed. I thought it must be some kind of scam or something, right? But then I watched this video he'd put up. Just a simple video, kind of like this one you're watching right now. And this guy taught me some astonishing things about relationships and breakups that changed everything and led me down the path to Eric and I being together and happy in a way I never thought possible. The first thing Michael Fiore taught me was that trying to get the relationship Eric and I had back was not only impossible, it was stupid to even try. Sound weird? Let me explain. What you have to understand is the moment you and your boyfriend or husband broke up, the relationship you had was over forever. And as hard as it is to believe right now, that's actually a really good thing. Now, at first that seemed impossible. How could the horrifying pain Eric and I had been through be a good thing? But Michael Fiore explained, if you handle it right, your breakup is actually a huge opportunity to hit the reset button and get back the love and passion and respect you had when you first started dating. A way to move past all the pain and anger and boredom that infects even the best relationship and create something new with your ex. So much better and so much stronger than the resentment and disappointment that had infected your love before things ended. After all, if you're honest, you know you broke up for a reason. Or maybe a lot of little reasons that just added up. And if you just try to get him back, instead of creating a new relationship with him, you're doomed to end up right where you are now. Alone, miserable, and desperate to see him and feel him again. While he moves on trying to find a girl who can satisfy his deep, primal needs in a way you never could, because no one taught you how until right now. Crying at my desk that night, I felt nauseous, guilty, and inadequate. I remembered all the times I felt helpless in our relationship, no idea how to fix things or what to say, and the very thought of Eric with another girl, I almost crawled into bed with my bottle of wine, pulled the covers over my head, and gave up. But then this Michael Fiore guy told me the good news that gave me and Eric our future back and will hopefully give you yours too. The good news is that even though you can't have your old relationship back, you can have a better one. You can have the relationship the two of you were supposed to have before everything got screwed up, where you love each other, lust after each other, talk openly and honestly, support each other, and just enjoy each other every day without even thinking of having another one of those fights. In other words, you can be happy together. Not just for a week or a month or a year, but forever. And you can create this new relationship just by sending a few specific texts from the phone you have in your pocket or purse right now. Of course, not just any texts will do the job. To open the door for you, these text messages have to accomplish 3 incredibly important things. First, you need to send texts to erase the bad memories he has from the end of your relationship. Texts that subtly remind him of the woman he fell in love with in the first place. So he not only forgives you for whatever mistakes you made, but finds himself almost magically focusing on what he likes and loves about you every day, even if he could only criticize you before. Second, you need to send texts that make him feel seen, understood, and respected by you in a way no other woman can possibly offer. You know him better than any other woman, after all. These texts let him know deep in his heart that it's safe to love you again. What's even better is that these texts help him accept you for who you truly are and inspire him to finally become the man you've always needed him to be. And third, you need to flat out seduce him. To reawaken his lust for you, you need to send him texts that make him feel like a handsome, attractive, wanted, and overwhelmingly sexy man, in the exact way he's been craving for so long, but you simply had no idea how to give him before. If you send the sequence of texts that do these 3 things, one simple obsession will grow in his mind and repeat itself over and over again, and drown out any anger or bitterness or disappointment he has now. I made a mistake. She was the one, and I'll do anything to get her back. The texting sequence, which accomplishes these three things, has been used by tens of thousands of women, just like me and you already, with astonishing results. Young women, older women, married women, single women. Women who are with a guy for 40 years. And women who are with him for 4 weeks and feel like things ended before they truly began. All wiping the slate clean and creating something wonderful and new just by typing out a few messages on your phone. How do I know it works? Because even though I cheated on Eric, which I will regret for the rest of my life, even though we'd been drifting apart for months and months, even though I did everything wrong after we broke up, even though I drove him away and gave up all my feminine power by begging him to take me back, even though he was already dating another girl, a friend who'd had her eye on him for years, Michael Fiore's Text Your Ex Back brought Eric back to me, emotionally bonded us closer than we'd ever been before, massively improved our sex life, better than when we first got together, and created the astonishing relationship I know we'll have for the rest of our lives. So much better than if we'd never broken up at all. The first thing I noticed when I made the choice to enroll in Michael Fiore's Text Your Ex Back were the people. Thousands of folks in the online community you become part of for free as part of TXB. Men and women who are suffering, sure. But also tons of Text Your Ex Back alumni who had used the program and wanted to share their success and advice with you. I can't even tell you how amazing it was to have people who understood what I was going through, who didn't just tell me to give up and move on, but encouraged me to fight for what I knew Eric and I could have. But the thing that really changed my life, stopped the pain, and made me a better, happier, more confident woman was the Text Your Ex Back system itself. An astonishing and specific sequence of messages that's going to have your ex forgetting everything that's ever gone wrong in your relationship and literally begging you to take him back, promising to do anything for you, fighting for you, and thinking giving it another shot is 100% his idea. I was petrified when it came time in the program to send Eric the first text.